who from an organization are you first targeting when, let's say, it's completely a cold account? You don't know much about it. You don't know the infrastructure. You don't know what software they're using. You don't know what pain points they have.
Yeah.
What's your starting strategy for an account like that?
Absolutely. And this is a majority of accounts that we do prospect into, especially if you're more of a startup. Like, absolutely, this is majority of the accounts you're going after.
Yeah. You're not just throwing everybody that's in the CRM that have already gone through 1,001 sequences into a sequence again, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
That's probably the wrong way of going through and doing prospecting for a multitude of reasons, whether it's calling someone that's no longer working for the company or bad data, the list goes on. I'm sure you've experienced through working at 2 different companies surrounding some sort of prospecting motion where you had a good prospecting strategy and then a not so good prospecting strategy.
Right. I think it comes to like the integrity of your prospecting workflow and understanding exactly who needs to be in there, but more than that, it's you got to be ready for those conversations. So it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
Like I see that story twofold. Your first 90 days should kind of be, you might not be talking to the right people, and you should handle that objection of, oh, you're not the right person. Great, no problem. Who is the right person to talk to about IT software over there? And maybe that sounds ridiculous when you listen to it back 6 months later and you've developed your skills and you feel better, but I do see value in that in your first growing period of a BD role. As you transition and feel like you're confident with anyone picking up the phone, that's when you double down on your prospecting efforts. That's when you double down on spending proper time to get the right people in there. One thing I did want to mention was like the correlation of how we look at our pipeline versus how AE looks at their pipeline. Ours is, we have a pipeline of prospects, not of potential deal value or potential opportunities. Those prospects are who we can close our meetings with. So AEs look at it very scrupulously. Like I can't waste time on deals that aren't going to get me anywhere. Just like I look at, I can't waste time on prospects that aren't going to get me anywhere. Of course, it's a little different. There are insights into orgs that anyone can tell you, and there is value that anyone can tell you. So I'm not saying there's the perfect role, the perfect title that you have to chase for your certain software, whatever you're selling. But there is a big correlation of what we do on a daily basis is training you for that mentality of what you should be doing on your next role, especially if you're thinking about AE, where that prospecting time should be a very tight-knit process where you know exactly who's in there. So it is a tight pipeline that you know what can funnel out of it. I guess I'll leave it at that.
If I didn't know anything about prospecting, who from an organization are you first targeting when, let's say, it's completely a cold account? You don't know much about it. You don't know the infrastructure. You don't know what software they're using. You don't know what pain points they have. What's your starting strategy for an account like that?
Absolutely. And this is a majority of accounts that we do prospect into, especially if you're more of a startup. Like, absolutely, this is majority of the accounts you're going after. You don't have prior engagement. You don't have lost deals. You don't have any conversations with the company, just brand new. It's got to be a bottom-up approach with that, where it could be as low as the people that are using your software today. So for example, if it's IT help desk software, you could call it IT analyst, the IT system admin, and just to get a base of, what solution are they using today, what's maybe a headache that they're having. My favorite line when I'm calling someone like that is, hey, I know you're not the right person to reach out to for this conversation, but I'm planning to reach out to him. I think it's X. I think it's Brandon. I think it's Dan. Not quite sure if that's him, honestly. That's why I'm calling you today, and understanding what you guys love, what you guys hate about the tool before I reach out to him. I think people are more receptive when you show that you've done the research before calling instead of leaning on them to educate you about their org.